concerns. So, okay, thanks once more time. Again, we are in Nakuru Civil Society Organizations Forum, a network of civil society organizations that operate in Nakuru County and focusing mainly on promoting democratic governance and ensuring that constitutionalism is adhered to by institutions of governance. So today we requested you here so that we can share with you our deep concerns around the goings on in Nakuru and in Kenya generally. As a network, we are deeply concerned that there are human rights violations that are going on in our county and our country, and therefore would wish to join the Kenyan Republic in demanding for justice and accountability. We are concerned that we appear to be going back to the dark days of Nyayo, where abductions, arbitrary arrests, enforced disappearances, torture, and degrading treatment of citizens is becoming the order of the day. And to us, this current trend is one that really scares us, particularly noting that the government of the day has not been keen to ensure that the people of Kenya live in dignity as they deserve in accordance with our constitution. So two very, very important incidences have happened in our county, and this will be at the core of the press statement that we're going to read to you. So I'm going now to invite my colleagues to read.
Kwa majina ni Mwangi Mura wa Nyambugi, ambaye ni kutoka Nakuru Human Rights Defenders, ambaye ni mwanachama wa NASCOF. Na tumekuja hapa leo kuuliza maswala ni kwa nini kuna mauaji ambayo yanafanyikana katika Lake Nakuru National Park. Tayari tuliweza kumpoteza Derek OTHIAMBO Owino mwaka wa 2021. Tumepoteza Kevin Ganira mwaka 2024. Na pia kuna watu ambao ni manusura wa risasi ambao wanaishi na majeraha nyumbani kama Hagai Kibisu, Barak OTHIAMBO, Alvin Williams, Sami Jenga, Luka Keya, na kwa wakati huu tuna mwenzetu kijana wa Nakuru ambaye anaitwa Brian ambaye hatujui yako wapi. Kwa wale watu ambao wameweza kushikwa katika pale game, wametoa ushahidi ya kwamba kuna unyama na tunataka vizuri kabisa Senior Warden Bwana Oyugi, utuelezee kazi ambao mlipewa pale ya kwenda kuwalinda wanyama, kwa nini wao wanajigeuza kama wanyama? Tumeona wanawake katika jamii ambazo zinaishi karibu na Lake Nakuru wakiingia pale wanaweza kubakwa, wanapewa option mbili, aidha wauliwe, waachiwe fisi wa wakule ama wabakwe. Vijana ambao wanashikwa pale, kuna mmoja ambaye amedai ya kwamba maaskari katika National Park waliweza kumtandika na kumvua mavazi. Na tunaamini ya kwamba mavazi yale walikuwa na mvua ndivyo wanyama wakiweza kumkula, hatutawahi kupata evidence yoyote. Kwa hivyo Bwana Oyugi, vunja kimya chako, Wakenya wanangojea uwaelezee Bwana Brian ako wapi. Utuelezee muliajiriwa kuwalinda wanyama ama muliajiriwa kuwa wanyama? Inasikitisha kuona ya kwamba wakati Chatu, huyu nyoka ambaye anaitwa Chatu, alipovunja kingo, alipotoka katika eneo la game park na kuja katika estate za wananchi wenyewe wanachukua jukumu na kuja kuwafahamisha ya kwamba kuna nyoka, kuna mnyama wenu ambaye ako kwa pande hii. Kwa nini nyinyi mnajifanya wanyama, mnawaua wananchi wa Nakuru? So Bwana Oyugi, Senior Warden wa Nakuru National Park, tafadhali tunakuomba elezea wa Kenya Brian ako wapi. Mama yake saizi tumekuwa na yeye pale kotini, anaumia, familia yote, bibi yake, watoto wake, jamii eneo lile, wote wameshikwa na depression kwa sababu yako. Tafadhali tuelezee Brian ako wapi. Na kuhusu mauaji ya critic ama mkosoaji wa serikali Richard Otieno pale Molo, tafadhali tumeomba Molo kwa wakati huu imeamua kukaa na amani na kuwa kielelezo kizuri katika taifa letu. Tunajua Molo imekuwa chibuko la ghasia za kikabila. Bwana Richard ametoka kwa jamii tofauti na ile jamii ambayo inaishi pale, na walikuwa wamemchukulia kama kiongozi wa taifa hili. Richard hakuwa anatetea jamii yake, bali alikuwa anatetea jamii yote wa Kenya. Tafadhali tungeomba viongozi wale ambao wako pale juu, kuanzia rais, watu wa opposition, mnaweza fuata mfano wa Richard Otieno ambaye ana mtizamo wa kitaifa wa kutetea Wakenya wote. Nikimalizia tafadhali, KWS, Senior Warden Lake Nakuru, Bwana Oyugi, tunamtaka Brian sahi na sahi na sahi sahi. Lau sio hivyo, hakutakuwa na amani. Na tunajua ya kwamba wananchi wana uwezo wa kushirikiana na jamii ya kimataifa na hii National Park iweze kususiwa. Isusiwe kabisa na hakuna mtu ambaye ataingia pale, tuone kama nyinyi ndio mtakuja kuonwa pale ama mtamwaga unga. Asante.
Well, first and foremost, there is a lot that has gone up until today for us to be able to issue this pressure. We wanted to appreciate the circumstances behind these egregious human rights violations. So colleagues have taken time to reach out to possible witnesses. We reached out to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, for example, and asked them to deploy a team to come as a state human rights institution to come and establish the circumstances, for example, that led to the murder of Richard. You may be aware that Richard had received threats before he was murdered. There are snapshots of WhatsApp groups that are circulating in the public, pointing to altercations he had with individuals, with non-individuals. You recall that names of powerful individuals have been mentioned in association of this case. So we spent our time to try and establish, get information that would enable us have an objective view and objective analysis and recommendation. So we have seen members of the public, taking to the streets to demand accountability, something we support, but we are also careful to ensure that this does not degenerate to anarchy. That's why we have, for example, pointed out the incident at Suswa, where unfortunately a policemen were at, and we wouldn't want to have a situation where the public is having running battles with law enforcement officers. So we took our time to come out, but in our other spaces, including our social media platforms, our members and some of us as individuals have actively condemned these incidents and called for accountability.
You can expound more about the court case petition that was filed yesterday and what you intend to do?
Very well. My colleague Western is going to add. The idea is to compel the police and KWS to present Brian in court, because we have witnesses who saw the KWS officers arresting Brian. The police have denied ever receiving a suspect in the name of Brian OTHIAMBO in their custody. So the last person who was seen with Brian are officers of KWS. So the idea of corpus habeas is to compel the authorities to produce a person who said to have been in their custody. And that is what this petition.
My name is David Kuria, and I'm here in behalf of Independent Medical Legal Unit, IMLU. As you know, Brian went missing on 18th. Since then, 6 days are gone. So we have tried to call to Bondeni police station, and they said that they did not, they don't have anybody in custody. So there were witnesses who saw when Brian was arrested by KWS and beaten up and bundled to their vehicle. So since then, some of the witnesses, eyewitnesses who were there when he was being beaten up by the KWS have already recorded their statement with the Nakuru DCIO. And since then, nothing has come up. Nobody, even today, nobody knows where Brian is. So yesterday, IMRU instructed Wakili Abuya, and he filed a petition through e-line. So we are waiting for directions from the registry. We have been at court and they have said that we wait for the direction so that maybe the wakili can be given a day to come and argue his case. So the habeas corpus is for, there are 4 respondents. So between is, there is a, so we are expecting maybe by the end of today or tomorrow, the registry will give directions.
We've seen in Nairobi that specifically the habeas corpus is directed to the Inspector General. You can remember the Masengeli case. We just want to know who exactly are you directing this petition to?
The respondent to this petition is the officer in charge of Nakuru National Park, the Director of Criminal Investigation, DCIA Nakuru East, Director of Public Prosecutions, and Honorable Attorney General. I think you will get a copy. We have a petition. I have the petition with me.
I work for Center for Transformational Leadership and the co-convener of the Nakuru Civil Society Forum. I will read about the concerns that we have. There are basically 3 key concerns. The first one is human rights violations by KWS rangers in Lake Nakuru and Lake Naivasha. There have been scary incidents of harassment, arbitrary arrests, torture, and even disappearance of members of the public, particularly young men, from communities living around Lake Nakuru and Lake Naivasha. A case in point is the disappearance of Brian OTHIAMBO, which you may be already aware of, who was taken to custody by KWS officers from his house in Makuti area, Manyani Estate, Nakuru Town East, on Saturday 18th January 2025 at around 2000 hours. To date, Brian has not been presented to a court of law and his whereabouts remain unknown. Brian's family and friends are deeply traumatized and deserve to know the whereabouts of their loved one. The second concern that we have as civil society organizations is the murder of human rights activist Richard Otieno. The gruesome murder of the government critic Richard Otieno, who is commonly known as the Molo president in Elbagon on the night of Saturday 18th January 2025, highlights the alarming trend of impunity and deterioration of human rights reminiscent of the dark days of the Nyayo era. Such incidents erode citizen trust in law enforcement institutions, and we would want to see justice happen. We would want to know who killed Richard and why was he killed. The third issue is the rising public frustration and risk of anarchy. Recent events such as the fracas in Suswa following the death of livestock and subsequent violent clashes reflect growing dissatisfaction among citizens. Communities have begun resisting forced abductions to a point of confronting and dispersing state agents. While these actions signify public demand for accountability, they risk escalating into anarchy if constitutional measures are not enforced. With the 2027 elections on the horizon, unresolved tensions could be exploited for political mobilization, mirroring the chaos of the 2027 post-election violence.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know whether you'd want this one to be... And I will read the key asks. Number 1, that the KWS be compelled to immediately produce Brian OTHIAMBO and have him charged by a court of law for the crimes they arrested him for. The law must be allowed to operate naturally. Number 2, independent investigations. An independent body must be established to investigate allegations of torture, arbitrary arrest, abductions, and the unresolved cases of disappeared individuals like Brian OTHIAMBO. Perpetrators must be held accountable. We welcome the support. We welcome and support the steps taken by the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights to conduct thorough, independent investigations into the grisly murder of Richard Otieno. If need be, a public inquiry can be instituted to focus attention on all unresolved murders of human rights defenders and activists. Number 3, enforce the ban on unsafe fish. The government must strengthen regulatory frameworks and investigate why unsafe fish continues to reach the market despite existing bans. Corruption within enforcement agencies must be addressed decisively. Number 4, promote human rights-based approaches. Authorities must uphold human rights and ensure lawbreakers are arrested and prosecuted according to the due process. Forced disappearances and extrajudicial actions must cease immediately. Number 5, dialogue and community engagement. Convene an urgent dialogue between KWS management, elected leaders, elders, and community representatives to address conflicts between rangers and local residents. A lasting solution is essential to conserve Lake Nakuru's resource while ensuring communities' well-being. Number 6, rebuild citizen trust. The government must urgently address the division between state institutions and citizens, ensuring transparency and accountability in all its actions. I will allow my colleague to read the last part. Calvin Muga, Program Officer, Midrift Human Rights Network.
My name is Jane Githiri. I work with Women's Empowerment Link, and I will conclude the presser today. Kenya stands at a critical moment. The ongoing violations and crises around Lake Nakuru are a test of the country's commitment to justice, governance, and environmental stewardship. Failure to address these issues risks destabilizing communities and undermining national unity. The Nakuru County Civil Societies Forum urges the government to prioritize constitutional measures to resolve grievances, restore public trust, and protect human rights. Additionally, the international community is called upon to monitor the situation and support Kenya in upholding the rule of law and safeguarding its citizens. Together, we can ensure a just, peaceful, and equitable future for all Kenyans. Thank you very much.
We used to walk around, our fathers walikuwa wanaangalia nyuma. They used to talk in whispers. We weaned ourselves of that situation in 2010 when we gave ourselves this new constitution. Then now come this administration that is reading from Moi's rule book. I think media must join Kenyans in holding this administration to account. We cannot be in a country where it's normal to abduct Kenyans in broad daylight. We cannot live in a country where it's normal for police to kill without batting an eyelid. It cannot be normal for us when a young man is disappeared and nobody seems to care. It cannot be normal when someone meets his death by his doorstep. I think this is the time for us to call out this administration. They are preparing the ground for confusion for 2007 elections. That's really the script. They are testing waters, seeing how much we can stomach and accommodate. So our call to you as media is join us, let us embark on ensuring that we restore the integrity of our nation. To fellow Kenyans, the reason we have law is so that we remain human beings. We are urging you to avoid taking law into your hands unless it's absolutely necessary. You attacking the police, that's not good. It's not good to attack the police on duty. Let's avoid that. Even when we are exercising our rights to demonstrate, let's remain peaceful, let's observe the rule of law. If our leaders are breaking the law, we should show them that we are not ready to break the law as Kenyans. We live to protect the law because the law protects us. Thank you so much.